Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, this is Andrew, and today, if I sound a little weird, that's because I have a cold, coming down with a bit of a sore throat. You know, it's like a freaking pine cone was shoved down my throat. It's a little tight right now. So, you know, if I sound a little weird, I do apologize, but I definitely want to get this video out. And of course, this video is going to be explaining the Rogue and Vogue event, arguably the most complicated event I've ever seen in a game. That's not saying I don't like the event, don't think that. It's just really complicated, but I'm going to try my very best to explain to you guys. If I get anything wrong, let me know down in the comments, but I'm pretty sure I got this figured out. So let's fasten your seatbelts and let's get right into this because it's going to be somewhat of a clusterfuck. I'm going to try to make it as simple as I can. I'm going to go ahead and include a link to the mini site that I'm kind of going off of, you know, that I'm reading off of. So if you guys want to follow along to have a visual sort of thing to help you guys learn, check that out. Apologies ahead of time if my explanation sounds a little repetitive. It's just that it's so confusing for me, at least. I don't know. Maybe you guys are smarter than me. And in the background here, you'll be seeing me play some Aimee using the new Merc. That's right, guys. I actually have a new Cobalt. A very nice shiny Cobalt makes my day. Arguably, I think the best PvP loadout, but someone's gonna have to check me on that. But anyways, so the Rogue and Vogue event. What is the most basic thing to talk about? The first thing I should talk about, I think, is the currency, the new currency system, right? You have cycles and credits. Now, cycles can be used to purchase special event stuff. That's trinkets, cases, special cases and stuff. And these cycles, you're wondering, how do you guys get them? So you can get them by playing matches. They kind of drop much like how credits drop, except they drop way less. I probably get around 30-ish in a stopwatch match. You know, 25 to 40, I would say, is the range. I don't really know. I've just played a couple matches, but it's not like 500, you know, that drop. It's definitely on the lower end. So you can get them through drops in matches, from just playing matches. You can get them through special missions that actually give you cycles, much like how you have missions for credits. And you can also get these little credit to cycle converters. I'll go ahead and post what they look like. There's different tiers. You know, I believe you get much better value the higher you go. You know, if you spend like a shit ton of credits, you're going to get a better bang for your buck in cycles. Okay, I think we got cycles down right. I think everyone kind of understands what cycles do. They buy shit. You can convert it from credits to cycles. You got that? Okay, so next up we have the actual event. And this is sort of like the whole culprit thing, who killed Max Bashki. That name is really hard to pronounce. Max Bash. Okay, so London's Most Wanted. Every week, you have 4 new suspects that you get into free rotation. Okay, so you have 4 mercs. Right now, I think it's Artie, Nader, Proxy, and Sawbones, at least for the first week. And then, of these 4, whichever mercs gets used most in a squad, like whichever one gets put into a squad, they'll be listed as a prime suspect. And then you move on to the next week, you get a new 4, same kind of thing. So you keep doing this until you get to the 5th week, and during the 5th week, you're going to take each of the prime suspects from each of the weeks, so that totals 4, right? Duh, there's 4 weeks, 1 for each week. So you have 4 mercs. And each of these 4 mercs, whoever gets squatted in the most will become the culprit. Alright, does that make sense to everyone, right? So, yeah, it's a little complicated. Feel free to rewind back to just review that again. Okay, so now that we got that out of the way, we have the culprit by the end of the 5th week. That kind of starts to play into the rest of the event. So, with the culprit, you have the culprit case, right? The culprit case is one of the things you can buy on that PDA on the front screen that you can unlock with cycles. Now, this culprit case is going to unlock a loadout card, a special edition culprit loadout card with its own little skin for that merc. Whichever merc gets picked at the end of week 5 by the community, that is going to be the merc that gets the special culprit loadout card, right? Now there's another layer that's a little more confusing, is that there is a Vengeance Obsidian pack. Now what is this Vengeance Obsidian pack? Well, that's essentially a bundle where you can pay $15 for Aimee and this special Obsidian culprit case. So you have the regular culprit case with its own special skin of the merc that gets released, you know, however long, 5 weeks down the line, and then you have an Obsidian version of that, and it's just a one-off Obsidian variant of the culprit card. So right now we have two cases. We have two cases right now. We have the culprit standard, just the regular culprit that you get from the PA that you can buy with cycles, and you also have this special obsidian culprit that you can pay money for. That comes in a bundle. Okay, we got that. All right. So next up, we have the next kind of case, which is the suspect equipment case, and that is sort of like the variant that you would see in the Containment War and What the Dickens, where it's basically a regular equipment case with a percentage chance of getting a limited edition suspect loadout card. Now this is different from the culprit skin. It's gonna be a different skin from that. The suspect loadout cards, they're gonna look like these right here. I can show you guys on the screen. It's kind of like Shard and Fragment had a baby. It's got the blue highlights and the white whatever. Okay, so those are the suspect loadout cards. And these suspect equipment cases have a 1% chance of dropping these. I think that kind of makes sense, right, guys? It's pretty much the equivalent of what we got. Previous events they had at 0.3, but looks like they raised it up to 1%. Now, what's different about these cards is, yes, even though they are more expensive, if you kind of convert the credits into cycles and figure it all out, it is considerably more expensive than previous reiterations. However, you have less RNG to deal with, because these equipment cases will only have suspect skins for the current mercs in free rotation. So of the 4, for example, of the 4 of week 1, you have Nader, Artie, Proxy, Sawbones. So the first week, suspect equipment cases will only have a chance of dropping limited edition suspect loadout cards for one of the 4 mercs. Now, if you have your eye on another merc, you can wait till the next week, or week 3 or week 4, whenever that other merc comes out and it's going to be featured in the equipment case. Now, remember, it is still a 1% chance. However, it's much better than the 0.3% that was in previous events, and you only have to contend with 4 mercs at a time. It doesn't increase the chances much higher, but it's something. It's something. The cool thing, though, is that week 5, you guys can have access to all 4 variants of the cases. So if all else fails, just save your cycles until week 5 and just splurge on whichever equipment case you want. That way you can kind of narrow it down to getting the card of the merc you want. At least somewhat. I don't know. It's still 1% freaking chance. So now, just so you guys know, these 1% equipment cases, they do not drop like previous versions. You can only buy them with the 350 cycles. So yeah. Now, the better deal, in my opinion, is to use your cycles on working towards getting the event cases. Now, these event cases are pretty much similar to what previous event cases were in the past. They basically guarantee you a card with the special skin. So it's not a 1% chance, it's a 100% chance. However, these are much more rare than the regular equipment case. So you have the suspect equipment case, and then you have the suspect event case. Okay, you guys got that clear distinction. Suspect event case, 100% chance. Same kind of deal. It's going to be one of the 4 mercs in free rotation. And then you have the suspect equipment case, only 1% chance to get the special card out of the 4 mercs per that week. Now, as I was saying earlier, I would probably dump my cycles into working and getting these suspect event cases. They drop randomly. We don't know the drop rates yet. However, I can say that if you use your drop booster, there's a drop booster which will increase the chances of getting a suspect event case. If you invest all of your cycles into those, if you stack up 10 of them, which is the max, you have the exact same chance of getting an event case as you do an equipment case. Now, the catch to this is if you stack 10 of them, they're pretty expensive. If you stack 10 of these boosters, right? If you stack 10 of these boosters, it will make the suspect event cases, the 100% cases, as common as a regular equipment case. So that sounds like a great deal. However, you have to look at the drawback. The drawback, and this is a very important drawback, at least at the time of making this video, they're doing this, is that once you get an event case and you're using a drop booster, all your drop boosters will disappear. So you can drop in 10, play for a few games, then get your case. All 10 of those are gone, right? Then you have to stack them up again. You can drop in 1. If you drop in 1, that will probably last a little longer because it's less of a chance, right? It's slightly more likely you get a 100% event case. But once you get that case, that 1 booster is gone. Some people were thinking dropping in 5, sort of like the middle ground, right? Not giving up too many of these boosters away all at once. Drop in 5. you know, you're going to lose all 5 once you get the event case. So it's sort of up to you guys how much you want to spend. Personally, I probably would only put in 1 or 2 max at a time. I guess I'm sort of a gambling man. You know, I want to, you know, get 10 of these cases with 10 of the boosters instead of, you know, just getting 1 of these cases really quickly, but using 10 boosters. And also, you know, I'm not that urgent to get one of these event cases. I'll probably end up buying an elite case pack, which is what I'm going to get to next. Now, the elite case is going to be very similar to past events. Now, these are pretty straightforward. Suspect elite cases, you know, you have a greater chance, I think it's about 10% chance of getting a suspect little card. Same kind of deal. It's going to be 1 of the 4 mercs in free rotation in that week. And of course, in week 5, all 4 variants of the Suspect Elite case will be available in store. So at week 5, you're going to have a shit ton of different kinds of cases. It's going to be a massive clusterfuck. Holy shit. Okay, I hope that makes sense. So I'm going to take a step back here. Not literally, but I'm going to take a step back here, rewind a little bit. Do you guys remember Containment War, Walk the Dickens, right? If you buy 10 elite cases, you'll get 1 event case, right? That was the guarantee. So that's going to be the deal here. However, every first day of each week, you're going to be able to buy just 5, and you can get that 1 event case. So they're doing like a special deal each first day. And if you buy 10, you get 2 event cases. So they kind of sweeten up the deal a little bit. Try to encourage people to buy these things. I'm probably going to buy a couple. Maybe not this week, probably next week, because I don't really want these mercs. Now, just to reiterate, the Suspect skin, which is the blue skin, that is totally different from the Culprit case. You guys remember the very first case I talked about? Those are 2 different skins. So I don't know what the Culprit skin looks like just yet. So those are two different skins. I want to make that distinction because I was really confused about that for a long time until Shu explained it to me. So you have the Suspect line of skins, right, with its own equipment, event, or elite case variants. And then you have the Culprit, which is another type of skin that we don't really know much about. And then you have the Culprit Obsidian version, which is essentially an Obsidian variant of whatever merc gets picked as the Culprit. So it's so confusing. I'm so sorry, guys. I hope this makes sense. But the very last thing that you guys can spend cycles on are database trinkets. And I gotta say, man, these things look awesome. They look way more vibrant and shiny and cool. However, they will cost you some cycles, i.e. credits, depending on how you look at these. So you have the spam trap, you got the antivirus, and you got the firewall. Pretty self-explanatory. It's sort of like a way to buy in-game stuff, right? You don't have to pay cash for these. These are just with in-game currency. Free-to-play players can actually get these. Not too bad. I mean, these are pretty good looking, I'll have to say. Okay. Now, with that said, there is a paid trinket called the Skullsplitter. Okay, it's gonna be $5 for the Skullsplitter. It looks pretty cool. For some reason, it kind of reminds me of The Walking Dead, because I've been watching a lot of The Walking Dead. And Negan, one of the bad guys, one of the villains in that show, bashes someone in with a baseball bat. But we're not gonna get into that. This is Dirty Bomb, not Walking Dead. Alright, so Skullsplitter. It's a trinket. You pay 5 USD for it. The cool thing about this trinket that makes it cooler than, in my opinion, any other trinket is that it's not just a thing that hangs in your gun, it actually does stuff, right? So this Skullsplitter trinket will give you a slight boost in cycles. Do you guys remember what I said, how you guys can actually get cycles after playing matches? So the trinket will be like a cycle booster, quote-unquote. It's going to be a small amount, I believe it's around 10%. Not too much considering how few cycles you get per match anyways, but it's worth mentioning. The other thing it does that's really cool is highlights a kill, you know, in the kill feed. I don't know if you guys are into that kind of stuff, but it does do that. It highlights your kill in the kill feed. So there you have it. It's kind of cool, I guess. But yeah, that's the Skullsplitter trinket, and I think with that we have all of the features in the Rogue and Vogue event. Rogue and Vogue event, it explained. Holy shit, that was ridiculous. If you guys are still confused, I am so sorry. I mean, I tried my very best to like explain this all, but in case if you guys are still confused, remember I'll go ahead and link the actual mini site that explains all of this down in the description. So yeah, if anyone has any questions, let me know down in the comments. I'll try to answer them. I mean, I probably can't answer every single one of your questions because I have a feeling that if everyone floods my comment section, it's going to be pretty tough. So if anyone knows the answer to someone else's question, feel free to answer them for me. I will love you long time. It'll be great. Anyways, guys, that's just about it for today. And yeah, I'm going to head out because I'm sick. All right, bye.